Virginia Congressman Ben Cline serves on the House Judiciary Committee, where he questioned former special counsel John Durham last week. His big takeaway? The FBI lied to the American people, launched an entirely unwarranted investigation against Donald Trump to prove non-existent collusion with Russia and try to prevent Donald Trump from winning the 2016 presidential election. The congressman says that every American ought to be outraged by this corruption and abuse of power. Please welcome to the show Congressman Ben Cline of Virginia. I can't imagine a more stressful time to be in the Congress than right now. You had an extraordinary exchange with the special counsel John Durham, and you basically just laid out a series of questions and asked him, did the FBI, did they lie to us? Did they participate in this phony Russia collusion story against Trump? Did you have any idea how significant that exchange would be and how viral it would become?
Well, thank you for having me. It's great to be here. It's an honor to be with you, and I'm so grateful to you for your leadership. And your monologue was right on point this July 4th. We've got a lot to be thankful for, but we've got a lot of work to do to straighten out the mess that's going on in this country. And it's a rot that goes to the core of a lot of our venerable institutions of government, and the Department of Justice and the FBI is one of those institutions. And so we have seen over the years, starting back before Trump even ran for office, that there was an effort to weaponize the institutions of government against conservatives. And when Trump came along, Hillary Clinton and her supporters drummed up this Russia collusion idea and paid members of a law firm associated with her to launch investigations, and then took the information that they gained, some of which was false, some of which was based on faulty testimony and incorrect facts, fed it to the FBI, and the FBI used it as an excuse to investigate the Trump campaign, and it became what was known as Russiagate.
But in the midst of all that, the media continued to beat that drum and presented as if it really had happened, when at that point people knew it really didn't.
Now, in fact, the collusion was between the Clinton campaign and the media and those in the FBI who were using that faulty Steele dossier to go to the FISA court to get the warrants to spy on members of the Trump campaign. And that incestuous relationship with the press was what really kept the truth from coming out until we were able to get the Durham investigation launched. And even then, while the report did lay out the facts for the American people, there wasn't any action taken by Durham. He didn't investigate everybody he was supposed to. He didn't investigate Comey. He didn't investigate.
Why not? Why did he not do that?
My thought is he's ultimately a company man, and his company is the FBI. And so he went out to, he's an honest man. He's a principled man. He's going to lay out the facts as they were, but he's not going to go above and beyond to actually restore that integrity that is so important by prosecuting those within the organization who needed to be pursued.
And yet I think most conservatives looking at what's happening in our country, they say, you know, we look at Hunter Biden. What he did, most people go to prison for it. They don't pay their taxes on several $1 million of income. He's a drug user, and he committed a felony by purchasing a gun and lying on the forms to get it. I mean, that's a kind of an open and shut deal that sends people to prison all the time.
Absolutely. I was a prosecutor before I got elected, and there were many cases where you had instances involving lying on forms, involving purchasing weapons when you weren't legally able to or supposed to be able to, and those people would go to jail.
You're on the Judiciary Committee. Now the Republicans have the majority. Can you shake enough bushes in Congress that will reveal and expose some of the corruption that we are all aware of, that we can see, but it's got to be dealt with?
Absolutely, and more is coming out each day. We're learning more about what our current Attorney General, Merrick Garland, knew about the investigations into Hunter Biden, the delay tactics, the hiding of facts from the people, and we're going to get to the bottom of it because we've got a great chairman in Jim Jordan.
Yes,
and
great
I'm
guy.
honored to be on the Judiciary Committee with him, and he is bound and determined to get to the bottom of it and lay out the facts for the American people and follow the facts where they lead. We're not afraid to pursue them where they need to go. For example, Alexander Mayorkas, as our Secretary of Homeland Security, has ignored his responsibilities to the point where he needs to be impeached. He needs to be removed, and we're ready to lay out those facts
he does.
for the American people.
Well, I want to keep you here. We've got a lot more to talk about, and so stick around. Congressman Cline and I have a lot more topics to cover, which we're going to do right after this. Stay with us. I'm continuing the conversation with Congressman Ben Cline. We were talking about some of these things that are happening. Merrick Garland, the Attorney General, made a statement this past week that was very disturbing. And he made the comment, he said that the attack on the integrity of the Department of Justice is an attack on democracy. Now, Congressman, I heard that, and I think he said it with this sort of a smug, how dare you question. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. Our government is based on the notion that we, the people, have every right to question our government. It is our government that doesn't always have the right to question everything we do. And does he not get that?
That's right. It says above the Supreme Court, equal justice under law, not weaponized justice against your political opponents.
Merrick Garland testified under oath to Congress that he has not interfered at all. Somebody's lying. It's either the whistleblowers or it's Merrick Garland.
Not only were the IRS whistleblowers unable to get their complaints heard, the U.S. Attorney in Delaware investigating Hunter tried to get designated special counsel to investigate and was rejected by the Department of Justice in Washington on more than one occasion. So we have efforts to prevent even a U.S. attorney in Delaware and those IRS investigators as well from pursuing the truth as it relates to the Biden family.
One of your colleagues on the other side of the aisle this week had a little issue. He got censured. Adam Schiff of California, who was waving his hands and telling everybody that he knew there was Russian collusion. He had the evidence. He never presented it. Turned out there wasn't any.
Nope.
It was a real kick in the pants to Mr. Schiff, wasn't it?
It was, and it infuriated the liberals who have defended him throughout his lies. And as he's been lying to them and to us, to the American people, confident in the fact that as chairman of the Intelligence Committee, that he could lie with impunity and that no one would ever know the truth. Well, once the truth came out, he continued to lie about Russia collusion. And, that is one example of us holding accountable those responsible for their lies. He is one of the first, but he is not the last, and we will continue to follow the facts and get to the bottom of it.
I think there are a whole lot of us who are just ecstatic, not in a vengeful way,
no. But
you don't want someone to repeatedly lie to the American people and do it with such pride and arrogance and get away with it. That does weaken our system of government and our confidence that we can trust our government. And I think it's one of the reasons so many people are cynical about the way things are going.
Yeah, we have a real crisis of confidence in our institutions of government, and we need to restore that confidence. That's what Republicans are trying to do in the House, and hopefully next year we'll make some more gains in the Senate and in the White House.
We sure hope so. Congressman, it's been a real honor and pleasure to have you here. Thanks for coming and being on the program.
Thank you, Governor.